was a good business strategy.
We do still feel the legacy of the Securitate. Our duty now is to show by our actions that we are a completely new organisation.
The new bosses have set out new training priorities, anti-terrorism and the fight against organised crime, and now work closely with the West. Most old Securitate officers were dismissed, but hundreds have been allowed to stay once they showed they cast off the old mentality.
The most impressive weapon Securitate held against the people's had was the fear. Not actually a 9mm pistol, but the fear itself. Sheer fear. Today, it's completely different.
Romania's intelligence chiefs are determined to show they've made a complete break with the old Securitate. And the way, as we've seen, the students at this spy school are trained in democratic values is a strong indication that they have. But for many ordinary Romanians, the shadow of the past is still there and will remain as long as the Securitate files stay secret and locked away. The 3 million boxes of files would reveal how many were in service to the police state, but they're still strictly under lock and key. Former anti-communist dissidents like Member of Parliament Ticu Dumitrescu now demand a final reckoning be made about the past. My efforts to have the files opened are being blocked, he claims, and the intelligence service is still dominated by people from the old Securitate who have much to hide. But the heads of the new Secret Service want the world to know the lessons of the past have been learned. And with the spy school recruits, a whole new era has begun. William Horsley, BBC News, at the Romanian Intelligence Headquarters, Bucharest.
And that's the news from here in London. But the main focus of attention tonight, of course, is on Northern Ireland. So finally, let's return to Peter Sissons in Belfast.
Thanks, Nick. And the main news, as night falls here, is that the people of Ireland, north and south, have been voting in referendums on the Stormont Agreement. The polls close in half an hour. The results won't be known until tomorrow afternoon. But after all the arguments, all the politicians can do now is wait for that historic verdict. Newsnight is on BBC 2 at 10:30, but that's all from the 9 o'clock news. From Belfast and from London, good night.
Good evening. British Airways launched its new budget airline Go from Stansted today, despite legal action from rival operator EasyJet. But as the first plane got off the ground, a campaign was already gaining momentum against the expansion of the airport. Local people fear the new airline will add to pressure for a second terminal.
The maiden flight to Rome was a sellout. With return tickets priced at £100 each, it's little wonder Go sold more than 18,000 of them. Go will fly 13 scheduled services each week to Rome, Milan and Copenhagen. More will follow.
We've identified Scandinavia, Germany, France, Spain and Portugal as exciting areas to go to. We'll also be increasing our frequency from 2 to 3 a day to each of our current destinations by the end of the summer.
Stansted currently handles 5 million passengers a year. Go is expected to accelerate its growth to 8 million. Norman Mead, who lives under the airport's flight path, fears Go will add to pressure for a second terminal.
They have outlined planning consent to go to 15 million passengers, which will be the limit that this present terminal and facility can cope with. Beyond that, they will need a second terminal, which will take their capacity to 40 million passengers. This is Heathrow not many years ago.
Stansted says there are no current plans for a new terminal.
The fishing of razor shells in the Wash will be banned from midnight tonight. It follows concern about the impact on breeding grounds for other shellfish and the knock-on effect on migrating birds. The government says the marine and coastal habitat must be preserved and safeguarded. There's to be a new man at the top of Suffolk's police force. Paul Scott Lee has been promoted to Chief Constable. He's been with the Suffolk Force for the past 4 years as Deputy Chief Constable and previously worked for Northamptonshire Police. Finally, football and Colchester have just been promoted to the second division. Their big night at Wembley ended a few minutes ago with a 1-0 victory over Torquay United.
Throughout the day, there was a steady stream of blue and white fans leaving Colchester for tonight's playoff final. The bookies were divided over who was favourite. At first, Torquay looked the stronger side. But then a controversial handball decision gave Colchester a penalty kick. David Gregory scored for the U's. Manager Steve Wignall couldn't quite believe it. After that, the game changed. Torquay tried to fight back, their best attempt coming moments before the end of the first half. But Colchester now seemed to be in control. The second half was fast-moving and at times bad-tempered, with Colchester so close on a number of occasions. But in the end, the one goal was enough to take a team which not long ago was in the Vauxhall Conference into the second division. For Colchester supporters, a weekend of celebrations now lie ahead. Andrew Sinclair, Look East.
And we're back with the news and sport tomorrow at 5:25. But from me, good night.